Ohyonametaty back again with another video. Today's video we'll be doing something a little different. Today we'll be doing the breakdown of Iris West Allen's character, okay? We're gonna be talking about some of the things we liked about her character, some things we didn't like. We'll be analyzing her character. We'll be talking about the storylines that she received and some that she didn't. Shut up, don't talk about my hair. It's not cooperating today, but I wanted to get this video done. It's blue if you look really close. Well, you can't really tell on camera, but my hair is blue. I dyed it blue. You guys, if you follow me on Instagram, I dyed it blonde to get it blue, okay? So let's get right into it, okay? All right, so let's start off season 1, Iris West Allen. Now, personally, I fell in love with Grant and Candace's version of Barry and Iris. I thought that they had some great moments as best friends. I've always felt that Barry and Iris had better moments as best friends than what they have as a couple. Like, they have better intimate moments and emotional moments as best friends than they do as a couple, which is kind of sad. One thing that I've always talked to you guys, anybody that follows me on Instagram knows that I'll go live like every week or every other week, and I always find myself saying, I don't know if it's a good thing. Like, if the TV show The Flash was just audio, like there was never a visual for the show, would I know that Iris West Allen is a black woman? I always would say that, and not knowing if that was a good thing or a bad thing. I always thought that that was a good thing because she wasn't a stereotype in the typical way, meaning that she wasn't the best friend with the latest gossip and always talking about people. She wasn't the sassy best friend who always was snapping her fingers and yes, God, and you know, stuff like that. She wasn't overly sexualized. You know, you never hear Barry say anything like too much about, well, hell, he don't say nothing about her now, but when they were best friends, you know, it was a certain look that he would give her. He didn't have to say she looks beautiful or she is gorgeous. It was just the look on his face that we knew what he meant. Just from one look, we knew that he thought that she was beautiful. And I was glad that they didn't over-sexualize her. I was glad that they didn't make her sassy. I was glad that they didn't make her one of those proud, over-the-top proud black women that I can do this by my... Well, actually, she's like that now. Well, she's not a proud black... She's not that trope of the proud black woman, like, oh, if nobody gonna do it, I'm gonna do it by myself, and I don't need no man, and I can do this. She's not like that in per se, but she's definitely... I can take care of myself type of woman now in season 6. But in season 1, I definitely like how they wrote her. But now looking back on it, she wasn't black. She wasn't black. And the only way, and if I'm gonna be completely honest, Joe's character wasn't black either. They didn't give us any backstory on Barry growing up in a black household. Like, mind you, if this show was on BET, let's look at that. Let's look at it that way. If the show was on BET or UPN, you don't think that Barry wouldn't have this type of aura, I'm gonna say it. Barry would be hood as fuck. If this show was on BET or UPN, he would be hood as fuck. Growing up in a black household, then they talk about Grandma Esther. Everybody got, first of all, any black grandma speaks their mind. Everybody black grandma speaks their mind. They say what they want because they the elder and they the head of the household. No matter who house they at, they are the head, so they could get away with saying anything, right? So it was just, the show was geared towards a white audience, but they had black characters, Hispanic characters on the show and didn't know how to write for them. Still don't know how to write for them, actually. Yeah, they had Cisco. They showed a little bit of his backstory in season 1. They had him say a couple of Spanish words, and then that was it. Never heard anything about his family. Dante died in season 4, so we never saw him again. So, you know, now thinking back on it, it's bad that if there was no visual for the show The Flash, that I wouldn't know that Iris West was black. It is bad. It is bad, and I'm saying it. Let's talk about season 2, Iris West. The first half of season 2, I thought season 2 was one of the best seasons, actually. I thought season 2 was better than season 1, in my opinion, when I go back and watch it. But as an Iris West fan, Iris West did not have a storyline in the first half of season 2. She didn't. She would come into Star Labs and ask questions. She would come into Star Labs and give examples. So it'll say like this, Caitlin Cisco will say some technology or some big ass word, and she'll be like, oh, what does that mean? And then they'll explain it, and then she'll give an example like, oh, so you mean like this? And they'll be like, exactly.
Does he normally go? Not this fast.
Not even close. Are his vitals okay?
Yeah, they're perfect. Cool. It's like having a pit stop attached to your chest.
That was her job in the first half of season 2, right? I did not appreciate that Joe had such a big problem about his daughter dating his partner, but yet Joe pushed Barry to date Patty, his partner in season 2.
But you can't let that stop you from exploring something new.
It was kind of a double standard. I didn't understand why they did that. If anybody, they should let somebody else push Barry to date Patty, not Joe. Especially since Joe was like the biggest West Allen fan since episode 1.
She's got feelings for you, Barry. She may not know how to deal with those feelings right now, but I know her. They're there. Always have been. You know that too.
So I didn't quite understand that. Iris West became the Laura Lance of Arrow in the first half of season 2. She had no storyline. They brought in Francine for her, which I thought was great when I went back and watched it. I thought bringing her mother back from the dead was a great storyline for Iris by herself, nobody else involved, right? Just for us to find out that she was a crackhead. Like y'all couldn't find any other reason why she left. Like they were having marital problems. Like she was dealing with mental health issues. They could have wrote anything, but no, they had Iris West's mother be a drug addict, and a pregnant drug addict at that, because when she left, she was pregnant. So I just couldn't. And then they always try to make Iris this strong black woman. Well, they probably gonna make her a strong black woman now, since everything going on. I'm finna talk about that. But they always try to make Iris this strong person to always like handle everybody else's emotions, but yet nobody ever handles Iris' emotions. She always has to deal with her own emotions, right? She always has to be that shoulder to cry on, that shoulder to lean on, but nobody for her to quite lean on. Her mother came back in town, right? They had a couple of discussions. I felt like they could have went in deeper. Francine was there for probably like what? 5 episodes? Like she wasn't there a long time before she died. I felt like they should have definitely kept Francine around. They could have still killed her off, but they could have definitely kept Francine around, gave them, you know, time to actually talk about like, oh, you know, I loved you, you were a beautiful, like just give them backstory, and then have Joe and Francine have a discussion. Did Joe and Francine ever talk about it? No, it was off camera, like, oh, your mother is dying, you might want to go see her, you know, she's in the hospital. Meaning they obviously had a conversation and he forgave her for what she did. Stupid. And then when Francine died, it was kind of like this afterthought, like, oh, when the episode with, what was her name? Linda's doppelganger. I forgot what her name was. Something bright, Dr. Light or something. Yeah, Dr. Light came and Barry was temporarily blind for like some hours. And he asked her like, oh, how are you doing with your mom's death or whatever. And she was like, I'm fine.
How are you doing with that, by the way?
I mean, now that she's gone, okay.
Yeah.
She wasn't fine. She wasn't fine, bro. Like, it just pissed me off. It pissed me off. The fact that, and then they had a scene that I'm guessing Grant and Candace were excited about, because they posted pictures like, oh, they're about to have a heart-to-heart, when they both were sitting in yellow, when they both had on, or she had on yellow or something like that, and they were sitting on the steps in Joe's house, and that scene was cut. It was never shown. So therefore, it never happened. Therefore, Barry never consulted Iris. He never comforted Iris when her mother died. And then Wally came, which I thought was a great addition to the show. But Wally got more character development than Iris got. As you see, nobody liked Wally when he first came because why? He threatened the protagonist, he was against the protagonist, and nobody ever likes the character who's mean to the protagonist. I hated Wally when he first came. But over time, he grew and now everybody loves him. Same with Ralph. Well, actually, I still hate Ralph. Peace, bro. But as you can see, Ralph grew over time. Did Iris get that? No, but I can say that for a lot of other characters that's been there for season 1, but we're talking about Iris today, right? And then, so yeah, Francine had a little short time on the show. I feel like they could have definitely went more in depth with what Francine dealt with as a drug addict, since you guys are going to go that route about it, instead of having it simply making us more aware of mental health issues in the Black community. It could have been anything, honestly. The reasons why Francine left could have been so many other reasons than her being a drug addict. Like, I just thought that her being a drug addict was a cop-out, honestly. And then let's talk about Cecile. I'm gonna be completely honest. I hate Cecile's character. I hate Cecile's character with a passion, because the only reason why Cecile is such a big character now is because they needed her character to make the plot of the villain, make the villain's plot make sense. They didn't need Francine's character until, oh man, how are we gonna beat DeVoe? Who could we give powers? Oh my God, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make Cecile pregnant, and that's how she's gonna get powers, through her pregnancy. Oh my God, because she's always been a metahuman, but only when she's pregnant. It's gonna be great. Like, who thought of that dumbass storyline? Like, Cecile, I felt like when Cecile and Joe started dating, I was so happy for Joe, and then I was also happy for Iris, because finally she gets that mother figure in her life that she deserves. Iris' mother never raised her, so she never got that mother-daughter relationship that she so deserved, right? And I would have loved to see how, by Iris not having a mother-daughter relationship with her own mother, affected her relationship with Nora and herself. But no, all they did was, oh, she dampened her power, so I'm gonna hate my mom. Like, that was the stupidest shit ever. Instead of them really having a more in-depth discussion of, my mother didn't love me enough to stay, and she abandoned me. Therefore, I'm scared of having a daughter because I feel like I might do this. I feel like I might neglect her in the same way. Not physically, but probably emotionally or in other aspects of her life. They didn't go there. They could have went there with that storyline, but instead, what did they do? Oh, she dampened my power, so I'm mad. I was so upset that they decided to make Cecile this annoying ass character that don't do shit and come and talk to people when we don't need her to talk. Hated it. They should have gave us that mother-daughter relationship with Cecile and Iris. And then in episode 5, season 4, when they went to the strip club for Barry's bachelorette party, and then when they got arrested and were put in jail, Joe was expressing how he was scared to have another child and how much older he is, saying he's almost 50 and he doesn't know if he could take care of a child at his age. And Barry was telling him, like, you were alone when you took care of me and Iris. Now you have people around you, surrounding you. That was the moment where baby Jenna should have been incorporated in Barry and Iris's life. That baby Jenna should have been Iris's practice with Nora. Do they bring up Jenna? Where is this bitch Jenna? We don't see this bitch Jenna. This bitch is 38, got a husband, got 2 kids. She live on the corner over there somewhere in Central City. Bitch work at H&R Block. Okay? She don't want to deal with nothing the Team Flash. She said, let me read what she said. She said, and I quote, y'all can kick rocks. I hate all y'all. Y'all neglected me when I was a little baby, sending me over there to wherever, Star City, National City, Metropolis, wherever the hell Joni lived, to babysit me while she was still in college. Fuck y'all. I'm out. Peace. That's what she said. You know, I can talk about how Iris lacks in so many things as a character. But one main thing that she lacks in is people having empathy for her. You know, I've noticed that she has to have empathy for every other character, right? But nobody really has empathy for her. I don't know how many times people have yelled at Iris, argued with Iris, disagreed with Iris, but let them do that to somebody else, girl. Somebody gonna stand up for them, right? I remember back in season 4, Caitlyn lost her powers. And she was, after season 3, where she was like, I don't want to be Killer Frost. I don't want to be this. And then season 4, she was like, okay, I want to be Killer Frost. It's fine. She was losing her powers. Iris was like, it's okay, girl. We're going to help you. She was like, no, I'm going to help me get my powers back. Then with Crisis, they had Ralph, tall ass, telling Iris like, your husband is about to die. Why are you worried about this? You need to be going spending time with your husband. While he was right. That motherfucker shouldn't tell her shit. Then when Ralph died in season 4, oh God, he should have stayed dead. When Ralph's character died in season 4, they had Barry all in his feelings and acting like Iris' death wasn't shit in season 3. Ralph died in season 4 for a little bit of time because DeVoe took over his body. And then Barry was mad boots like, I'm used to death, I'm okay, blah, 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 blah. And he snapped at Iris like, girl, just watch the comms. But the biggest one of all was season 3, episode whenever they found out who Savitar really was. And instead of everybody comforting Iris, finding out that the love of her life is the man that was gonna kill her, Iris went to go comfort Barry whack ass. Are you... I know, Maya. I know. I'm mad too. And I will never get over the fact that they did that. Never get over the fact that Iris is the one dying. Yes, she has to be the one to comfort Barry about him being the one who kills her. And then let's not forget, bitch, when Barry went to the future of 2024 after Savitar and he came back, who did he comfort? He went to a world where Iris West no longer existed. And who did he comfort? Joe. He walked right past Iris, gave her eye contact, bro, just to walk right past this bitch to Joe. Crazy. Now let's talk about season 4 in general. A lot of people, a lot of haters, a lot of racist ass haters always want to talk about how Iris West ruined season 4. There's a whole video of this one guy. I ain't even gonna say his name. But this one guy said his whole caption is Iris West ruined season 4 of The Flash. And while I do think that he had some great points, a lot of his other points didn't make sense because everyone's character sucked in season 4 besides the villain and the protagonist. Besides the protagonist and the antagonist, everybody's character sucked in season 4. Everyone's character fucking sucked. Now, my problem was with season 4. They didn't let Iris grieve how she needed to grieve for Barry, the love of her life. Hell, she didn't even grieve for Eddie back in season 1 until what? They didn't let Iris grieve for Eddie until it was a plot in a storyline. They needed to see Barry. It makes me so upset because everything is a plot line. Like, nothing can be a character development just to see this character progress in the story. Like, everything has to be a plot in another plot for another plot at another plot. Like, Iris was supposed to be grieving Eddie. How many times did they bring up Eddie's name? And she had a feeling or an emotion took over her because of Eddie's name being brought up, or because of they were talking about him in general. How many times? She only cried one time for Eddie, and that's when Barry gave her the video. She only cried one time for him. She only cried, how many times did she cry for her mother? Oh, when she was on her deathbed and she ran out and left her there to die. How many times did we see her cry for Barry once he was in the Speed Force? Now, I like the direction they were going for her in season 4, making her this hard shell of a woman. I love that for Iris. I wanted to see more of that, actually. I was excited for her to be captain, but then again, I was a little displeased because everything in Star Labs should remind her of Barry. If everything in her home was transformed so she couldn't remember Barry, she didn't want to sleep in their bed. She turned down every picture of them, which means she does not want to be reminded of the man that she loves and has lost. She does not want to be reminded of that. So why would she become the captain of Star Labs knowing that everything in that bitch should remind her of Barry? Made no fucking sense. For them to let Iris quit her job, a job that they didn't even have her at half the damn time. They didn't even have Iris do her job, and Candace Patton has been advocating for women on the show to be doing things outside of their male counterparts. Let's be real. She's been talking about that since season 2. They had Iris West quit her job to be I thought that her being the captain was the stupidest decision she ever made. They should have made Joe captain of Star Labs and captain in season 4. Because now it feels like Joe being captain, he's too old. Honestly, Joe is old as shit, okay? Joe looks old, he looked tired. I'm tired of seeing him get out that whack-ass pistol that don't do shit. He's old. Cecile's old. They're old. They cute, but old, okay? I always love Joe in a suit, all right? Anyway, they should have had that storyline of Iris being this hard shell of a woman longer than 2 episodes, okay? They should have never made her captain. They should have made her dove into her journalistic career for it to make sense of her now being able to hire photographers, to hire writers, to have her own little spot in a building that she pays rent for, you know? Like, just stupid is what it is. And then on top of that, people hated Iris even more for saying we are the Flash, but people forget to realize that Barry is the one who brought it up himself. Let's look back to season 3, episode 7, when Barry said that there is no Flash without Iris West.
Whether you realize it or not, there is no Flash without Iris West.
If Iris West did not make it known that the Flash even existed from her blog, there would not be the Flash. Let's be real. If Barry never gave Iris the name the Flash, for her to make it popular, for her to make it known that he exists, there would not be the Flash. Hell, she'd probably be naming him the Streak or the Red Blur. It would probably still be that name if it wasn't for Iris West. So the fact that people, and that's why I always say I hate that they try to make this a kid's show, because you're always gonna have kids that don't understand adult knowledge. They saying we're the Flash. I instantly understood it. Now, were there some fan pages who were making fun of it? Yes, I get why they were making fun of it. It was funny. Like, girl, we ain't the Flash. Like, people were making memes of it. Great, get it, got it. But to those of them like, what does she mean that the Flash? He's the Flash. He's the one that puts his life on the line. No, bitch. It means that when she put that ring on her finger, they are one. When they get married, they become one. Once Iris changed her name to Iris West Allen and they got legally married, everything that Barry does affects Iris, either in a positive way or a negative way. And I just couldn't understand how people didn't understand that when she constantly would say, we are the Flash, or he would constantly say that we are the Flash. Nobody went after Barry when he was saying we are the Flash. Oh my God. Yeah. Now, let's talk about Iris not having friends on the show. That is one of my biggest pet peeves, because I've always wanted her to have something outside of Star Labs. Always wanted Iris, especially when they made her captain. I just thought that was stupid. But now more than ever, season 5, when she didn't have the relationship that she thought she would have with her daughter, I felt like that was the moment that they should have brought in some friends of Iris West. I felt like the friendship thing was ruined once they let Linda go. Once Linda was no longer on the show, the character who plays Linda, the actress who plays Linda was no longer on the show, there was never going to be any women friendships. Never. Never going to be any women friendships on the show. Now, they tried back in season 2 with Caitlyn and Iris, but if I'm going to be Iris, nobody, if I'm going to be honest, nobody wants that shit. Nobody wants that shit. I'm sorry. Nobody wants that shit. It's too much toxicity. Yeah. It's too much toxic shit, period, going on with Iris West fans and Caitlyn fans. Now, I always try to like both women. I always try to see the good in both women. I feel like Iris West should definitely have friends outside of Barry, outside of Star Labs. Barry has friends. Why can't Iris have friends? And I was so disappointed at the fact that Caitlyn was her maid of honor, knowing damn well these bitches don't talk outside of work. I bet you it say Caitlyn / one of Barry's employees in her phone. I bet you. Because they are not friends. And Iris West deserves friends. I was so disappointed that they didn't get a little extra, or somebody, or a random cousin or that came, or a random roommate that she had back when she was in college, or something, an old-time friend that Barry and Iris knew when they were growing up, to be the maid of honor. No. Even Felicity could have been the maid of honor. Like, come on now. Really? Just a crock of shit, girl. Just a crock of shit. A crock of shit that they don't give Iris West any friends on the show. They don't give her a lot of stuff, actually. And let me talk about this real quick, because I know that a lot of people talk about this. And I hate to talk about it on here, but I don't care. The fact that we do not get sex scenes. Okay. Flash was the second DC TV show created after Arrow. If you go and watch Arrow, there's not a season or even a mid-season's finale that we don't get a sex scene or a steamy kissing scene between Oliver and Felicity, or Oliver and whoever he seems to be fucking at that time and point, you know. There's never not never. Oliver is considered a bad boy. He's considered a ladies' man. He's considered all these kind of negative things about him. But like, Barry a good guy and you can't give him none. And my thing is this, like, they love to say this a kid's show. Look. And I hate to say this because it makes us seem like we're horn dogs. Like, y'all don't give us no sex scene. Like, what the fuck is going on? But it's not about that. At least to me, it's not about that. The reason why I think a sex scene or a steamy scene should have happened, especially in season 3, is because we wanted to, that is kind of, in television and in movies, that kind of establishes the relationship and the love between two characters. That kind of tells us, like, okay, this is it, this is the moment, this is when they truly establish their love for each other and they truly establish their relationship. And we didn't get that. We didn't get that. We got a steamy couch scene that was interrupted. We got some steamy kisses, but at the end of the day, we don't want to see that. We want to see Barry love on a black woman. That's what we want to see. And we didn't get that. And the fact that they use this excuse like, oh, kids is watching the show, or it's an 8 p.m. show, you can't shut up. Because that pisses me off when they do that. Because okay, you can say it's a kid's show, but you had Barry, Ralph, Joe, Harry, whatever Wells it was this time, and Cisco go to a fucking strip club. Had Barry checking out, look at the video, had Barry checking out homegirl butt, like her butt was so glorious and bigger than his whole fiance's. Like, first of all, Iris is black. I'm pretty sure her butt is way bigger than that girl's that you're looking at. They had a whole naked bitch walk across the goddamn screen, but yet kids is watching the show. They showed Iris West get stabbed in season 3 more than about, what, 3 or 4 times? But it's a kid's show. But it's a kid's show, Jill. But it's a kid's show. They had a whole Cisco Ramon dig in the goddamn drawer for a condom when he was with Gypsy. Mind you, he didn't pull out the condom, but we knew what that move meant, okay? We knew what the drawer meant. But it's an 8 p.m. show. It's an 8 p.m. show. They have Joe and Cecile nasty ass whispering in each other's mouths and making out and shit. Like we want to see they old asses kissing. But it's an 8 p.m. show. But it's the 8 p.m. show. We get one fucking kiss from them every fucking season since season 5. And what do? They do the same thing, but they do the same fucking thing. They place the camera on something that don't even fucking matter, like a goddamn PB&J Smuckers or goddamn Dawn soap or some shit or some fucking like tea kettle, and then blur it out like we give a fuck about that shit. Like, great. That's a great technique to transition to a different scene or transition to commercial. That's a great technique, but not when you do it every fucking time. Do something different. They don't show that black woman being loved on that show like they should. And I don't just mean a sex scene. This man don't even call her beautiful. He don't say nothing about how bomb her outfits be. I compliment Iris more than Barry do, and that's his whole wife. I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed. Cause she be wearing some bomb ass outfits, let me just say that. Not season 5. Not season 5, I don't know what they was doing in season 5. Not season 5 though. They was having her dressed like a mom, but she didn't need to dress like a mom. I don't know why they did that. Anyway. Tragic. Another thing, let's not try to act like Iris got stabbed in season 4 when Marlise came and jumped through that hole and Iris stabbed herself so she could get Barry, Caitlyn, and Cisco back. Let's not try to act like that. But oh, he knelt and was like, "You okay, girl?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good." With a stab wound in the like right here with it, a stab wound right here with it, and he crying over Ralph. But your wife could have died from a stab wound, but he crying over Ralph. Let's continue. Let's talk about Allegra. Now, at first, I thought Allegra was annoying as hell. I was like, why are they giving us this character? I'm parched. Let me drink. But the more she started to be around Iris and the more that she started to kind of help Iris when it came to her writing the article about the Flash going missing, I started to like her. But now it seems like Allegra was only there as a plot, another plot, for HR's character to have a storyline. Like, and now they're making Caitlyn and Allegra friends like, oh yeah, she's gonna be training her. Bitch, she ain't being trained by the baddest bitch. Let's not forget that Iris was a speedster for a couple of days in season 4, and she was a good one at that, doing tricks that Barry has yet to do. But you want her to get trained by whack-ass Caitlyn? Okay. Why are we just now getting a storyline for Iris West in season 6? Every storyline that Iris has had has involved another person. Season 6 was the first storyline that Iris has had by herself, with herself, for herself. Okay, and I was highly disappointed in the fact that now her storyline in season 7 going forward seems like it would be for Ralph and Sue's storyline, no longer Iris' storyline, since Sue is being accused of murdering Eva's husband, okay? So now I'm upset. I was kind of I like the Mirror Iris storyline, but I felt like it should have been a storyline from episode 2 on forward. Iris should have been trying to get rid of Carver Iris should have known about Carver from episode 2 on down to the end of the season. But yeah, it's just a lot of things that Iris West's character needs to be fixed by season 7. They need to give us background story on Iris and her. When I mean background, I would love to see Barry and Iris as teenagers. I would love to see them as friends again. I'll say that I would love to see romantic scenes between Barry and Iris. I would love to see Iris with her own storyline. I would love to see Iris have her own building now. It's not like she don't got the money. I would love, over everything, I would love to see Iris go through some traumatic stress and go through something mental, with something dealing with her mental health after being stuck in that mirror for so goddamn long. Don't let them brush this under the rug like they have done with many of Iris West's storylines. Please do not brush this thing under the rug. You have mistreated, you have neglected, you have written out things for Iris West. Please do not do this time. Give her justice like you try to give Caitlyn justice by giving her a whack-ass episode every fucking season that doesn't need to be had. Having her doing all this shit crying over her daddy, but not even realizing she had a damn daddy till fucking season 3, bitch, with her mama talking and then Killer Frost talking about what if her mom don't like me like this bitch has ever liked her daughter. And we've known Caitlyn's mama ain't never liked her daughter since season 3, bitch. So what the fuck is you talking about? Like Killer Frost talking about, oh, I'm sad, I'm scared because her mama not gonna like us. Her mama not gonna like me. Bitch, she ain't like Caitlyn, so she definitely ain't gonna like your whack ass. Anyway. Oops, did I say that? Oops, did I say that? Did I say that? Yeah, I did. Stupid ass storylines that they try to give Caitlyn. But where is Iris West storylines? Not even just Iris West Allen. Where is Cisco's storyline? Oh yeah, they gave him one whack ass episode where he killed off our bitch Gypsy, which was the dumbest fucking thing of all. Oh, let me not even get started about that because this is an Iris West video, okay? We stand for Iris West. We want her to have agency. We want her to be romance. We want her to be sorry, it's my water bottle. We want her to be swoon, honey. We want her to be smitten. We want her to be romanced. We want her to be fiery. We want her to be a boss ass bitch. We want everything positive for our bitch Iris. Cause I swear to God, if they keep doing this whole sad little troop thing, it ain't fucking gonna work because people are speaking up now, and from now, people will be speaking up until the show goes off, okay? So let that be clear as I put my hair behind my ears, bitch. Let me move my bang, bitch. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this long ass video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and